What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. If you haven't been here, welcome. Today we're going to give you a little update on what we got going on so far with our 350Z project. The last video we posted was parts and what we got in so far, and we kind of just went through that. But right now we've been working in the shop all day, grinding and cutting and welding, so we kind of just want to take a little break and show you what we have accomplished up to this date. So let's walk over here and we're kind of just going to walk through the car. As you see right now, the car has been stripped down the whole way. There's no interior, no suspension. It's kind of just been sitting on 4 jack stands, and we've been working on the body as removing stuff and welding stuff up that we're not going to be utilizing. Right now we're just going to start on the front in the engine bay and work our way back. First thing I want to point out is we end up cutting a secondary firewall out. And Jake's been kind of working it, boxing this area in, so it looks a lot cleaner once it's finished. And I think it's going to come out really nice. And right in this area we have some openings. This is where the firewall actually was tacked up from the factory. So what he did, he ended up making some plates so we can box this area up to keep all the debris out and to give it a nice clean look. So we got both of them for both sides. This is going to be the next thing, is to get this closed off. All this everything back here, all these openings are going to be basically capped off. Everything that we're not using. This is something that was, used previously on the OEM setup. So we're no longer going to be utilizing that, and we're going to close that off. Another thing is we decided to go, so we need to get a windshield wiper installed. And our idea was to keep one windshield wiper on the center, and that's basically the idea we're going to roll with. But we don't want to, so we're going for a clean look, and we kind of wanted to hide the windshield wiper motor. So our idea was to mount it on the back side. That's something we're going to have to fab up and come up to see how we can make that work. But that's basically our idea, to keep this the firewall as clean as possible once we're finished. On the front of the car, we're going to end up fabricating the tube front end, and we already end up picking up some Oem tubing that we're going to be using for this part of the project. So as we finish the back section, we're kind of going to move in here, and this is probably going to happen when our motor is in, and we kind of going to start mocking all that up, and we're going to try to make as much room as possible, so when we're at the track, everything is easy accessible if we need a replace part or work on it. So this is kind of still up in the air how we're going to run everything, but that's the plan, is to run that tube front end and then fabricate a bash bar to cover everything else up, just in case we have an impact. We don't want to damage a motor or whatnot. This is basically the plan for the engine bay, is to clean it up and weld up the tube front end. All right, let's take a look at the inside of the car. On the inside, we end up cutting the speaker box and the glove box out just to give us some room, because we no longer need that. And we will be welding up a full roll cage and also building a firewall towards the back of the vehicle. So last video we showed, we kind of give you a little DIY on how to remove the insulation, and that was a dry ice video that we posted a little while ago. There is still, we still have some touch up to do and get rid of all this, loose stuff that's in here and get it ready for paint, and that's coming up just very shortly. On the front, we end up kind of mocking up the dash for now, and we cut it halfway just to kind of give it this race car look and give you, access to the firewall or to the pedal box, whatever else you need, ECU, whatnot. We'll see how that's all going to be mounted. In the future videos, we're probably going to be cleaning all this up and getting ready for paint, and then we're going to need to figure out our sitting position and start with a roll cage, but that's going to be coming up shortly. For the rear of the car, it's basically, for the most part, is going to be staying stock. We discussed it, cutting this out and doing a tube rear end and this and that, but right now I think the best, just for the time's sake, I think we're going to leave it the way it is, and then at some point, if we do end up racking rear end or putting into a wall, we're going to chop the rear and then weld up a tube front end. The only thing that's going to change about the rear is the lac sand glass on here. This is still the OEM stuff. And then welding up a bash bar to protect this as much as we can. Another thing that I was working on earlier today is cleaning out the wheel wells and the subframe area. So the plan is right now is to get this car as a rolling chassis so we can put it on the lift and then do some more body work underneath. There's a few rust spots that I'll show you here in a second that need to be cut out, and then paint the training tunnel and whatever else we got to do under it. But this is the wheel well. I ended up cleaning this all out this morning, and we end up respraying it so it looks all nice and crispy once we install our suspension. And I think it turned out pretty good. And if you come back to the back of the car, we did the same thing. So we kind of hit all 4 points. All 4 wheel wells are done. And this is what it came out to. I think it came out pretty good. It should look pretty nice with our nice shiny parts being installed. And the rear subframe area has also been all cleaned, grinded basically, and resprayed. So we are basically ready to get our subframe installed and start inputting our suspension in. Most of the parts are here, and the rest of them should be here this week. So the plan is to have this thing on the ground at the end of the week. And there's a few more parts that are still sitting over here, kind of just drying for now. This is some OEM bracing that we're going to be utilizing. This is the bigger one is the front, and this is the small one is the one that goes by the subframe on the rear. This is the paint that we end up using from Eastwood. This is basically just a matte black, and Jake used this on his truck whenever he restored his truck, and we'll probably do a video on it before. It's a pretty nice ride he's got, but he had a good experience with this, so we end up utilizing this paint on this one, and we'll see how it works out. Alright guys, I just want to stop and do a quick update because we haven't done one in a while. So I don't want to bore you with the grinding and welding, and we're just going to stop next time and show you what else we got. But thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Peace out.